Zak Brown, hello and welcome to Sky Sports F1's Sky Indycar. Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, as a racer at heart, great to see IndyCars back on track at St. Pete.
100%. It was a pretty good race. Not as good as we would have liked. I think strategy didn't fall our way, but it was great to see a new media partner who is already making a big difference for our sport.
Well, that was going to be what I was going to lead on. The talk, the buzz, the energy around this 2025 season, underpinned by the new collaboration with Fox. Just from your perspective, how important has that been, and how much of a success was the weekend?
Yeah, critical. There's a long list, like in any business, of things that I think we can do to improve our great sport. And number one on that was finding the right media partner, specifically in North America, given it's primarily a North American racing series. And Fox killed it. They the graphics, the promotion, the way they featured three drivers, in the Super Bowl, which is the biggest event in North America, huge broadcast reach. It was everything you'd hoped it would be. Programming, promotion, new way to show the sport. They had F1 type graphics, and I'm not surprised because Eric Shanks, who's the CEO, I've known for quite some time, and he actually kind of grew up in the business, if you'd like, with Chase Carey and David Hill, and of course Chase did Formula One, and David Hill's responsible for the enhanced broadcast, if you'd like, in the early days of Formula One here when Liberty took over. So to see Eric kind of clearly watch Formula One and go, that's pretty good, let's bring that over, is something that I've been advocating we should get IndyCar and Formula One more closely together. So it was great. Very nice TV rating, up 45%. I think, other than the Indy 500, the biggest IndyCar TV rating in over a decade. So great start, but we need to continue to work hard as a sport.
Absolutely. Now, Fox aside, all change at the helm in terms of Arrow McLaren. You've got Tony Kanaan there. In terms of bringing TK in, he brings a huge amount to the team. Have you seen any initial changes? I know he talked a lot about that sort of collective attitude, that culture that he's trying to drive over the weekend at St. Pete.
Absolutely. I've always been a fan of having former racers and specifically champions, in leadership roles. It's very much what we had with Gilles de Ferran in Formula One. A championship racing driver just knows what great looks like, knows what bad looks like, knows how to rally the team, knows how to communicate well, knows how to listen well, and has a really good understanding of the environment that needs to be created. So Tony's done a fantastic job, has created a lot of energy. The team looks up to him. He pushes hard. He can talk to the drivers in their language, of course. He's very well known, so the sponsors like him, the media likes him. So he's done a wonderful job, and very excited to have him leading our IndyCar team.
And talking of drivers, obviously you've got a new face in the stable this year, Christian Lundgaard. He got off to a really good start at the weekend just gone. How much time have you spent with Christian? What's he like as a person, and what sort of qualities do you think he's going to bring to the team?
I've spent quite a bit of time with him. I kind of led the recruitment of Christian. I was very impressed when he won his first race in Toronto. He dominated, but the part I was more impressed about is there was a late yellow, and he got shuffled to the back, and it would have been very easy for a young driver who's never won to kind of hit the panic button when they dominated a race, and he carved his way back through the field, didn't do anything silly, and I thought that was a very mature drive. So that drive in particular, he raced with Oscar Piastri, so Oscar had great things to say about him. He's young, he's fast, he's hungry. He doesn't lack confidence, but I like that. I think you want to have the right balance of humility and confidence, and he has that. And I think he, Nolan, and Pato make up a great driver lineup. They're all going to push each other, which is exactly what happened at the weekend.
Yeah, things didn't get off to the best of starts for Pato, but we know his quality. We know that he will bounce back. But a really good, strong start for Nolan Siegel as well, especially in qualifying.
Yeah, if I look at the weekend, I'm not worried about Pato. So, we can just write that one off as not a great weekend for him, but I think he's proven what he's capable of. So I was more, let's hope Christian does what I think he'll do, and Nolan. And Christian was on it right away. Nolan was on it right away. You know what I really liked about what I saw out of Nolan was his first laps in each session. He was just on it right away. Obviously, he got hit from behind from Will Power, who since is called and apologized, which is very classy, which is why Will's a multi-champion. So, these things happen. First race of the year, street races, things of that nature. And then, Pato, I think what I was happy about Pato was, he qualified 23rd. And the IndyCar championship is won by having less bad weekends, and you're going to have them. So I was really happy he went from 23rd to 11th, because maybe the very aggressive Pato in the past might have had a front wing come off out of his rush to get to the front. But, as I said to him, if you had an 11th place car, bring it home in 11th. And so I was very happy with that drive. So overall, I don't think we got the results on paper that we deserved. But when I look at it from my seat, I was happy with, pretty much all aspects, other than, some things just didn't fall our way.
Yeah, it's very much where you finish when you're not winning in terms of the hunt for the crown. I've heard Pato talking about that openly, consistency. And when you look at what it takes to beat Chip Ganassi or Team Penske, is that very much what you're targeting this year? Those
yeah, and it's consistency. Obviously, Andretti, Mike Shank's team did a fantastic job, who are obviously linked up with Ganassi now. So those are obviously the two teams that have been winning all the championships. But Andretti's always a threat. Mike Shank, and that's the beautiful thing about IndyCar is, kind of at any weekend, everyone's potentially a threat. And I think, that's the difference between IndyCar and F1. F1, it doesn't matter if you finish 11th or 20th, you get 0 points. In IndyCar, you get points in every position. So, that 11th place finish versus a 17th versus a 23rd is ultimately where you win the championship. Pato won as many races as the championship winner last year, but it was the average finish that caught us out.
Now, we've talked about Fox, we've talked about St. Pete. Just whilst you're here, with the direction of IndyCar now focused on the new car, there's a lot of talk about Honda and their involvement in the championship moving forward. How important is it to keep your engine manufacturers, to attract new manufacturers, and also to bring that new car for the championship?
Yeah, very. No one wants a spec engine series, so you want 2, 3, 4 manufacturers. So we need Honda to stay. Obviously, we're a Chevy team, and then the new car is long overdue. This car is over a decade old. It's had a lot of facelifts. Bolt this on, bolt that on, bolt this on. And at a time where every other racing series, Formula One obviously does it annually, Formula E does it every 4 or 5 years, you've got NASCAR, IMSA, WEC, we have a tired race car that needs to be upgraded. Give us something to talk about. Give us something new. Bring that technology back. The racing's great, but it's kind of like a hotel room. You do need to modernize them. Just because the roof isn't leaking doesn't mean it doesn't need new carpet and a refresh. Otherwise, the new hotel across the street is going to end up getting all your customers. So I think we're long overdue for a new car. But the great news is one is coming.
Zak, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for your insight, and best of luck for round 2 at Thermal.
Thank you very much.